Houston Public Works is responsible for the daily tasks you may take for granted. You may not notice us, but we work around the clock to support you. We are the foundation for life in Houston. Houston Water distributes enough fresh water to fill the Astrodome 4 times a day. Transportation and drainage operations handle 16,000 miles of streets. Over 1 million signs and street names and thousands of drains. The Houston Permitting Center regulates hundreds of projects so you can work, play, and live safely. Customer Account Services ensures 2.1 million people have access to safe drinking water with efficiency, accuracy, and flexibility. Capital Projects manages the critical improvements that make Houston better every single day. Houston is always moving towards growth, innovation, and progress. We are the largest, most diverse public works organization in the country. We are one team with one purpose. Together, we create a strong foundation for Houston to thrive.
Good evening, and thank you for participating in our live virtual information meeting today. My name is Kenya Williams with Houston Public Works. The goal of today's meeting is to inform you about the design updates for the drainage project coming to your area. Before we begin, I would kindly ask if you could hold all questions until the end of our presentation. Many of the answers you're looking for will be answered within the presentation, so we'd like to respectfully ask for your full attention at this time. Later, we will open the questions and answers session at the end of the presentation. Here at Houston Public Works, we believe that together we create a strong foundation for Houston to thrive. There are 5 service lines at Houston Public Works. Today's meeting is presented by Capital Projects. We deliver large-scale reconstruction and new construction projects to Houston Public Works' existing roadway, drainage, water, and wastewater facilities. We are committed to managing and delivering these critical projects that are maintained and operated by Transportation and Drainage Operations and Houston Water. So let's talk about this project and the neighborhood programs offered. Please hold all questions until the end of the presentation. This is a drainage project that has an estimated budget of $6.4 million. This project is currently in the design phase, and the project manager is Melissa Jefferson. Please note that Houston Public Works will host a virtual community meeting on how to prepare for construction once this project is in the construction phase. This project is currently at 90% in design, and construction is expected to begin in winter of 2024 and end in spring of 2025. So what do the seasons mean? Our construction timeline is as follows. Winter constitutes January, February, March. Spring is April, May, June. Summer is July, August, September. And fall is October, November, December. This project will reline a 120-inch trunk sewer in the project area. The trunk sewer is located along the City of Houston drainage easement from 610 westbound Feeder Road to South Braeswood Boulevard. This is an important initiative aimed at improving the drainage infrastructure and enhancing the storm sewer, inlets, and manholes. There are 5 phases to this project, starting at the 610 loop in red at the beginning of 2024. Once this project begins the construction phase, Houston Public Works will host a virtual community meeting on how to prepare for construction. Now, in 2013, a study was conducted and shared with the community that a new drainage system would have to be built under the street. Since then, the updated drainage design criteria, Atlas 14, prompted a new drainage analysis of the project area. The results determined that replacing the existing storm line no longer provided significant drainage improvements due to the drainage area flooding influenced by the existing conditions of Braes Bayou. To ensure the existing drainage system continued to provide service, this project was modified to a rehabilitation of the existing storm within the easement. The rehabilitation drainage project will not impact the streets. However, we heard your concerns, and we are here to help find solutions. So we encourage you to organize, don't agonize. There are neighborhood programs that will assess your requested improvements. We heard you loud and clear. It's dark. You need more lights on your streets. The solution to this is to complete the short application for the neighborhood to start the process of acquiring new streetlights. This application has been forwarded to District K to share with you. Again, just one application is needed for the community. Let's talk sidewalks. Angel Ponce is the director for the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities. He is the point of contact to inquire about sidewalks in your neighborhood. Excuse me. The only exception to this is if the applicant has a mobility or visual disability and there is no safe path of travel to a bus stop or Metrolift pickup location, their place of employment or educational, medical, religious, or recreational facility. Once the applicant has been interviewed and it is determined that their request is valid, we can facilitate to the maximum extent new sidewalks, new or existing sidewalks up to 15 linear feet. If this is the case, please contact Angel Ponce with the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities. Streets. Transportation and drainage operations wants to thank you for sharing your concerns about the streets in your neighborhood and is committed to taking a closer look at this issue and will determine how to address it sooner than later. Managing Engineer Stephen Liu will answer any questions you have about paving tonight. Many of you asked about how do we determine who gets improved streets first. Houston Public Works uses a filtered rehabilitation list based on pavement condition data, ride quality data, and sometimes traffic demand data. And every fiscal year, field evaluations are conducted. Please be encouraged. We have not forgotten about your streets. We are currently looking for cost-effective program treatments for streets. We encourage you to go to engagehouston.org to view the latest and greatest project information. Please subscribe to the project page to receive project updates as they become available. And now a brief demo on how to navigate your way on engagehouston.org.
Welcome to engagehouston.org. We're incredibly excited to share this platform with you. This site allows us to communicate with Houstonians about the changes that are happening in their neighborhood. Our goal is to make the site visually fun and engaging, as well as easy to navigate so that everyone can find what they need. Using the Google Translate option, users can translate the languages used on the website. On the home screen, you can navigate the 4 project types that we support: drainage, street, wastewater, and water projects. Beneath that, you're going to see a variety of resources. All of these resources can also be found up here in our header. For all public meetings, we send out notifications to the community, and one way to access the meeting link is to click on the Join Us button. Another great thing about this website is that we have enabled social media shares. Users can share meeting links, project pages, and updates to their social media feed through private messages and/or email. This helps us in getting more information out to the community. Here's a snapshot of all the relevant project information on the project page. It shows a standard map which highlights the project area and general project information, which may be followed by a link. Below are the project's frequently asked questions. To the right, you're going to see a variety of widgets. First is the Stay Informed Subscribe button. This allows a user to subscribe to this project, meaning that if this project is of great interest, all it requires is inputting your email address. You'll be notified via email when updates are posted to the page or when new information becomes available. You'll also see the current project phase, as well as the project documents, meeting recordings, videos, and pictures. Underneath that, you'll be able to view who's listening and who the public engagement team is. At the bottom of the page, there's the Engage Us tool, which allows you to correspond directly with us through this platform. In order to use this tool, you must be registered and signed into the site. Once you're signed in, you can ask questions and they're sent directly to the public engagement team. We research and provide a response to every single question that is asked. We encourage everyone to register for this site. Some of the tools we discussed earlier can only be utilized if you're registered, so it is extremely important to register. We've made it simple, quick, and as painless as we could. Just create a simple username and password and answer 3 basic questions, and you're good to go. You'll receive a confirmation email, so don't forget to confirm your email address so that you don't miss out on all of the updates. And now you're done. You're all set up to utilize engagehouston.org and all of its beneficial tools.
Please continue to email us directly at engage@houstontx.gov. We also encourage you to call 311 if you have a comment or concern. You can report online, email, or yes, there's an app for that. I want to thank Vice Mayor Pro Tem Cassix Tatum and the District K staff for their support today. Thank you to Transportation and Drainage Operations and the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities for their participation today. Thanks to all of you for joining us to receive this important project information. And thank you for your time and attention. Please remember to share what you heard today with your friends and neighbors. And remember to visit engagehouston.org if you have any questions, comments, or to receive more project details. And now it's Q&A time. Being present has its benefits because you will get your questions answered in real time by the fantastic project team. The project team is here to answer all of your questions. And now here to help moderate the Q&A is Timothy Williams with the fabulous public engagement team. Take it away, Tim.
Okay, I certainly will, and thank you, Kenya. Good evening, everyone. This is the Q&A portion of our meeting. It's your opportunity to engage and provide us with questions and comments that are related to this project. We'd certainly love to hear from you, and we welcome the feedback. The instructions for submitting questions are now on the screen. First, select Q&A on the right side of the screen. It's the bubble with the question mark in the middle. Then you would type your question in the compose box and then select send. You can remain anonymous by selecting ask anonymously. Some questions may require further research and may not be answered tonight. As such, we strongly encourage those who submit questions to also include your name and email address so that we can follow up with you later. Okay, and I'd also like to take this moment to note again that this marks the beginning of the Q&A process. If you have any questions or comments beyond tonight's meeting, you can share them by visiting us at engagehouston.org. You would go to the project page, and there at the bottom, you can submit your question or comment, and we'll be sure to follow up with you. I'd also like to remind you that all of tonight's meeting material is available on the site. Okay, that's it. And before I start, I want to encourage everyone to submit questions, the more general questions that can benefit everyone on the call. For the more specific questions that may be near your home, please do submit your name again and your email so that we can research that information and follow up with you. Okay, so I'm just going to present this to the project team. And anyone on the project team can sort of, you can respond to it. So can you just please touch again on any type of delays that may have existed with regard to this project? And if so, what were they? Just sort of just touch again on the scheduling of the project and where things stand.
This is Tanu. Melissa, can you quickly touch on the schedule for this project?
The schedule for the current project is that it's advertising right now. The bids open on October 5th, 2023. And after that, it goes into, we pick the low bidder, and then it's an intent to award that takes at least 2 months. And so we're looking at going into construction probably early next year or late this year, December. And then we should be completed in 440 days, which is like a year and a half.
Gotcha. Thank you, Melissa. And were there any, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Tanu.
No, Tim, this is Kenya. I
it's
do
Kenya.
want to address, some people are inquiring that it was slated for 2021.
Okay.
And I do want to state that projects within the 5-year CIP plan move from year to year due to circumstances such as natural disasters, due to new rules and regulations such as revised Atlas 14, new rainfall intensity rates, due to funding constraints, due to construction costs, escalation, etc. The process is monitored by bringing this 5-year CIP plan before the public and council for consideration each and every year. With that, I believe Vice Mayor Pro Tem Cassick Tatum may want to make remarks. Dee Dee, is she available?
She is here. One moment. Let me reach.
Okay. Okay. Okay, while we're waiting, we can go to the next question, Tim.
Okay, no problem. Okay. The next question says, I believe the project entails relining an existing 10-foot storm sewer that basically runs down the rear easement between, that's its Bevelin and Timberside. Can you please confirm? I believe the project entails relining an existing 10-foot storm sewer that runs down the rear easement between Bevelin and Timberside. Can you confirm?
Yes, Timothy, this is Tanu from Capital
Mhm.
Projects. This project does entail rehabilitating the existing storm line. It will include some spot repairs and relining of some of those storm lines that are existing. So there won't be any changes in the sizes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next question is, if the drainage and street improvements follow the actual water paths and floodplain, why did past improvements follow neighborhood lines and not floodplain lines? I'll read that again. If the drainage and street improvements follow the actual water paths, floodplain, why did past improvements follow neighborhood lines and not the floodplain? Can you show maps of where improvements were done or overlaid on floodplain maps?
Sorry, I don't quite understand that. Typically, the drainage system conveys water from the neighborhood. So basically, the streets and the storm systems are designed to capture that runoff and take it to the nearest outfall location. In this case, the existing line runs at the backlot easement of homes. During the planning stage, what we believed was increase in level of service, and this was pre-Atlas 14. So before the criteria changed, we thought increasing the size of the line could improve drainage in this area. But once the reanalysis was done based on Atlas 14 data, we found out that it does not add significant improvements. So since replacing the line within the easement would have been difficult during the when we looked at it in the planning phase, we decided to go through the streets because existing easement has encroachments and other issues where replacing the line would not have been feasible. That's the reason we plan to go through the street side during the planning phase. So since we are not going to be reconstructing the line, we are sticking to the existing easement,
Gotcha.
the current path.
Gotcha. Thank you, Tanya. Okay. The next question is, it was my understanding that there were funds set aside for street improvements when the project started. Since the scope of the project changed, can you address the status of the funds and how that might have impacted the funds since the scope of the project has changed?
So to explain this, we have to go back to how the projects are initiated. So this project was initiated by drainage need. For example, when you see a project number starting with the M, that means that drainage needs had initiated this project. The street improvements were unavoidable during the planning phase because we had planned to align the storm line within the pavement. So it would have made it necessary if we are going to be excavating the pavement to put in the storm line, we were required to put the pavement back. So it would have been part of the project to replace the street. And when we do that, we try to bring it up to standard. So that's how the funding was looked at. But even at that time, we did not have a complete implication of what the total costs would look like, because this was, again, a planning study. Planning study looks at it as a option. And then when you get into detailed design, that's when you come up with the actual estimate and stuff like that. But after the planning study, the project did not stay with street improvements. So the funding was actually for a drainage project. And since we were impacting streets, we were obligated to make street improvements as a part of the project. It was not the street funding. Typically, a street funding project would have come from N. So this was the priority for this project was drainage, not streets.
Got you. Thank you. Okay. The next question is, why are the neighborhoods updated on the west and east side of Westridge Well, I'll read it the way it's stated. Why the neighborhoods updated on the west and east side of Westridge updated, but Westridge itself. So it appears that they're asking about the reason that Westridge itself isn't updated.
Well, it's hard to answer what was the driving factor for the neighborhoods around. There are several capital improvement projects going around the city, and they were programmed and planned according to the priorities at that time. Westridge was a drainage priority, and since we were only looking at drainage, as a part of this project, the streets will not be updated. But as you heard, Kenya, there are other options to pursue street and street light improvements. So it does not have to happen, improvements do not have to happen under this project.
That's correct. Thank you. And the next question is, it says, if the streets are not paved, can we fix the bad spots with asphalt?
Okay.
I would refer that question to Steve Liu. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. Yeah, bad spots of the pavement. Yes, we can take a look at those. We need to just go out there and take a look and see if there's base failures out there that need a deeper repair. The Westridge neighborhood, just in general, the pavement on I see a lot of pavement questions, and generally you have an asphalt surface course out there, and that's the main issue, is with the very surface course, not the pavement structure, which includes the base layer under it and then the subgrade underneath it. The subgrade and the base are generally in good condition. It's the surface course that wears out, it's disintegrated, and it's oxidized and broken up, and in some areas it's very deteriorated and gravelly, and so and then there's cracks where the pavement's expanded and contracted in different areas. So you'll see those linear and transverse cracks on older asphalt pavements. That's it's pretty typical for aged asphalt pavements. So to put that back in good condition, what we would do is come out and mill off the top 2 inches of asphalt and then lay a new layer of 2 inches of fresh asphalt, and that would provide a smooth riding surface, not only for the vehicles but also for bicycles, pedestrians, and folks with roller blades, scooters, getting around the neighborhood and just getting out and getting some exercise. So that's what we commonly see with the asphalt roads, is they need resurfacing. It could be every 15, 20 plus years, depending on the situation out there on site. So we also we typically rate the pavements citywide about every 2 to 3 years, following an APWA, American Public Works adopted standard, and it allows us to do a prioritization citywide of the pavements and go through a process to filter what's the recommended list for pavement rehabilitations each year as we go forward. And so there's some more details on that, but that's the general process that we go through. And some of the neighborhoods to the west and I think to the northwest, I believe some of those were picked up under probably the older petition process, which doesn't generally is not used any longer. And as Tanu had said, there may be some other factors that were involved with those neighborhoods, their infrastructure. But to get the bulk of the pavement back in good condition, it generally needs a resurfacing. We use that treatment citywide. The Knollwood Village subdivision to the northwest was done with that several years ago. We've done Southgate subdivision south of Rice University, Southampton, which is north of Rice University, and also Broad Acres in the museum area. So it's just some examples of how we maintain the pavement under maintenance and operations is to continue resurfacing asphalt streets. I hope that helps, cover some of the questions on the pavement. And what we've noticed is that we saw a lot of the comments that came in and took a look at more specifics on maybe why Westridge didn't get picked up and put into a mill and overlay program in one of the FYs. And it looks like it was, we go through a deconfliction process, and if there's a CIP in the area, we put basically a hold on it until the CIP is completed, because we look at actually pretty large pavement management areas. So we would probably need to break this one out separately and insert it into the program, because it needs a little bit smaller pavement management area to pick up this deteriorated pavement and get it addressed. So we'll be looking at trying to get that done essentially probably as soon as possible. One of the next FYs, as soon as we can program it in there, because it is quite deteriorated. And
but it's on the radar. It is on the radar.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, Timothy.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. And the next question is, will the work on the pipe require work within the backyards of citizens that are along the project route? Will work on the pipe require work to be done within the backyards of citizens that are along the project route?
Do you want me to answer that?
Sorry, I didn't hear that properly. Can you repeat that question for me?
Sure, no problem. Will the work on the pipe require work within the backyards of citizens that are along the project route?
The work will involve easement. So we do have drainage easement along the alignment of that pipe. And yes, unfortunately, some of the backyards do extend into the easement. So, but we will only be accessing locations of the manholes. So it won't be through the entire length of the pipe, but only at the location of the manholes where the contractor is required to get access into the system itself to do the relining. So it won't happen at the entire length of the easement, but if your properties are closer to the manholes or access points for that line, there will be some activity there.
Okay. Great, thank you. Okay, the next question is, how does, and I think you might have touched on this just now, Tanu, but it says, how does the process of relining the storm sewer work? I know you just mentioned that it runs through an easement, but are there any additional items related to that process that citizens should know?
Well, most of the work is going to be done within the line, so only access points would be, and I think, Melissa, we went through this. Most of these access points can be accessed through the street. Can you touch on that? I know you went through that activity looking into these access points.
Yes, most of the access points are already planned, which was mostly from the street. There may be just a few that has a manhole or inlet directly in the back, and they would have to be accessed from the front, from the gate along the street to the back. So we are planning on, in construction, directly contacting those residents that have a manhole or inlet that has to be accessed from that point. But I think for the most part, it'll be from a street access or some other access that's not a backyard.
And also, Tim, I want to add to that, when we do start construction, like Kenya mentioned previously, we will have another public engagement meeting to talk to people about how to prepare for construction of this project. So we will follow up with the community, and at that time we will have a contractor on board, so we will have more detailed information on the work itself.
That is correct, absolutely. And thank you for highlighting that point, Tanu. And the next question is, are any front yards going to be impacted by this project? From a
No,
design standpoint, from a design standpoint.
I don't believe so. Melissa, do you agree?
I agree. They will not.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. So we got a question. What is a CIP? Can you just provide clarification on the CIP?
CIP stands for Capital Improvements Projects. So basically, these are large-scale projects or new construction projects that are targeted towards improving the city's infrastructure, whether it's street or drainage or water and wastewater. So capital improvement projects typically are programmed first. There's a 5-year programming that comes with capital implemental projects. The stakeholders who are on this are TDO, this Transportation and Drainage Operations, as well as Houston Water. Each of these sections have their planning groups. The planning group does their preliminary study on prioritization and what project needs to go. And once they have a priority list, they program it. And when it's programmed, it comes to capital projects for implementation. So the capital projects group implements these projects that have been planned and programmed by the other groups. So capital improvement projects is something that improves your infrastructure for the city: street, drainage, water, wastewater.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, see here, we have another question. States that part of the subdivision west of Timberside was done long ago, but the area east of Timberside has been waiting for a number of years to get fixed. They wanted to know if we can provide some sort of feedback as to why that is the case. Part of the subdivision west of Timberside was done long ago, but the area east of Timberside is waiting to get fixed.
So I'm not sure if that project has a program capital improvement project. Is that why the question is asked? If it doesn't have any existing capital improvement projects, that's probably the reason there is no activity there. But I do want to highlight that if there are issues within the neighborhood, you could always report it through maintenance. It doesn't need to be always fixed through a capital improvement project. So the capital improvement projects are planned over a number of years and the areas are prioritized. But while we work on the capital improvement projects, which is complete reconstruction, there are also a number of projects that our Houston Water and Transportation and Drainage Operations are doing, which are rehab and maintenance projects. So if there is an issue within this street or any other location, the citizens can reach out and let us know if there's a problem, and it will be looked at.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Just okay, here's another question. It says, is the Timberside drainage expansion due to be updated? And there's some sort of a abbreviated word, CLOMR. I'm not sure if that's a mispronunciation or not, but it says, is the Timberside drainage expansion due soon to be updated? Update to Braze, I believe they're saying Braze Bio, or is this work independent of what the floodplain map will be in 1 to 2 years?
Sorry, Timothy, I think we'll need more information. I'm not sure if they're inquiring about an existing project.
Okay.
If they don't mind, they can submit this question separately. If they're inquiring about a existing project or a program project, we can find out and respond to it. But at this time, I'm not sure of any active projects on that side.
Absolutely. And I just made a notation for them to submit that question to re-clarify and resubmit to engagehouston.org.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Okay, I'm just taking time here just to ensure that we're covering all bases here. And I don't see any new specific questions. Kenya, if I'm overlooking anything, please let me know. What we can do is we can just again just highlight the fact that this project will be, this presentation will be on engagehouston.org, and all of the information that was covered as far as sidewalks and streetlights is in the presentation. We did get a number of those questions, just a number of those questions that were very similar in scope. And so those questions were answered in the presentation, and we just want to reiterate that very specific contact information is available for you there. And with that said, this concludes.
We do have a sidewalk question.
Yes, I was gonna say.
It states our neighborhood has minimal sidewalks in existence. Your presentation noted that we can only request sidewalk construction in front of a house, and with someone with physical disability. Is that correct? We cannot request neighborhood sidewalks just generally. And I think Angel could probably help us with that question.
Hi, everyone. This is Angel Ponce with the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. So that part of that is correct. If you are a senior citizen or a person with a disability or both, and you have lack of access to sidewalks or curb cuts, you can request that through our office. There is a wait list, and so sometimes it may take up to several months for the sidewalk to be constructed. There's also the safe sidewalk. So that would include I think 4 blocks from a school. That wouldn't be through our office, so we wouldn't facilitate that. But in general, you can always reach us for sidewalk construction if you are a person with a disability or if you are acting on behalf of a person with a disability.
Thank you. This is for the project team. We have a question about, it says, so our streets in the Westridge neighborhood will be torn up for 444 days for the drainage only. Could someone from the project team answer that?
We will not be tearing up the streets under the drainage project. Like we already emphasized, the storm line is no longer aligned along the street. It's going to be in the backlot easement that it's currently located in. So we will not be tearing up the streets.
Thank you. Okay.
Kenya, could you reiterate the streetlight process? I know that we had a couple of questions about or comments about the safety and the streetlights in case they missed it in your presentation.
Yes, so there is a process to request more streetlights on your street, and there is an application that is involved, and it just takes one application you could do one application for the entire neighborhood. So your civic club organization can fill out the application, and someone will come out to assess the lighting that you presently have, and then make suggestions on what the city can offer as far as additional street lights and how many lights you need. Let me go back to that slide really quickly. And again, I want to reiterate that the application was sent to your council member to District K, so I believe they will be sharing that with you. But this is the point of contact for streetlights, Martin Herrera. And here is the application. It's a very short application. And again, it just needs one. Not everyone needs to fill it out. It just needs one for the project area or for your community. And then they will start the process with you as far as getting more street lights on your street.
Thank you.
I think I think we are almost nearing our Q&A portion. I do want to emphasize there were a lot of we were the team were also answering privately to a lot of questions. There were quite a few, but I do want to iterate. There were multiple questions about why has the scope changed? Why has the project changed? It has always been a drainage project, and it continues to be a drainage project. Due to the new design criteria, thanks to Harvey, a lot of rules and regulations have changed, and because of Atlas 14, we altered this drainage project. So that is why, but it has always been a drainage project. It was never a street project. So we are continuing to do this drainage project for you. And so we wanted to offer solutions because everyone is asking about, well, what about street lights? What about sidewalks? And so here are some options for you if you want to continue that route for your neighborhood. So with that, Tim, I think if you want to close it out,
Sure.
you can go ahead.
Sure. No problem. Thank you. Just wanted to thank everyone again for being on the call. Thank you to Councilmember Castex Tatum and everyone at the District K office, all of the staff. We want to thank all of the city groups and all of the programs and service lines that supported this meeting along with us as well. And we certainly do want to thank you, the citizens. And again, please continue to engage with us at engagehouston.org, and we'll answer any questions or concerns or feedback that you have beyond tonight's meeting. And before I close out, we did get a question asking where this information would be posted, and it will be posted on engagehouston.org. And that's generally done within 24 hours of the meeting. So around this time tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, Kenya, this will be posted on the site. So
Yes.
With that, okay, absolutely. With that, thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a good evening.